Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you going today? Hopefully you had a good night's rest. Today we're going to continue our factorizing journey. So today's title is Factorising Part 2. So let's write that down. Okay, so far factorizing, we were talking about taking out the highest common factors so that we can write expressions as products of factors. So brackety stuff multiplying together. So to start off today, I'm going to ask us to recall, so throw back to when we were expanding, in particular those special patterns. So recall that we had this thing called difference of two squares or perfect squares. So difference of two squares, there was that magical pattern that we had that said that if you have a plus b times a minus b, and then you expanded the brackets using FOIL, first, outer, inner, last, then you would get your answer being a squared minus b squared, hence difference, subtraction of two squares, a squared and b squared. So going forward, so going from bracket a plus b, bracket a minus b, expanding to get a squared minus b squared. So that was when we were expanding our brackets. So today we're going to do the reverse and go backwards to factorizing. So if we can go from the patterns of a squared minus b squared, we can go back to factorize as brackets, a plus b times a minus b. So let's put that into action in example 1. So the verb is to factorize. And part A says factorize for me x squared minus 4. So the easiest way to recognize is it is a difference. So you have a subtraction sign of two terms. The first term is x squared and the second term is 4. So you're asking yourself, are the two terms x squared and 4, are they squares? So x squared is definitely a square because it's x squared. Is 4 a square number? So remember, square numbers are 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, etc. So these are our square numbers. In other words, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared 16, 5 squared 25, 6 squared 36, etc. So is 4 a square number? Yes, it is. So we can rewrite this as x squared minus 2 squared. And because it's in the pattern of there's a subtraction, a difference between two square numbers, then to go backwards and factorize, it's bracket. So you write down brackety. Well, what goes in is your first thing. So a, not the squared though. So our first thing is x. So you put x in the brackets. Then 1 is plus, 1 is minus, and then your second term in your brackets is your second number, which was squared. So for us, it's not 4, but 2, because it's 2 squared, and that's b squared. So you put the b inside the second part of your brackets. So we put 2 instead. So our answer, x squared minus 4, can be factorized into two factors, brackets x plus 2 and brackets x minus 2. Again, you can always check your answer by expanding the brackets. In this case, we would use FOIL because we've got two terms inside our brackets. Let's do another one. B, 9a squared minus 5 squared. Oh, not 5 squared, 25, sorry. So 9a squared minus 25. So first of all, recognize, is there a subtraction, a difference between the two terms? Yes, there's a subtraction sign. Next, are your two terms square numbers, or can it be written as something all squared? What about 9? Well, 9 is a square number. 9 is 3 squared, and 25 is 5 squared. So I can rewrite this. 9 is 3 squared, and because I've also got an a squared, it's in fact 3a all squared. So you make sure you put brackets around all 3a. Because you want 3 squared and you want a squared to give you 9a squared. And then you're taking away 25 can be written as 5 squared. So really, your first term is 3a, and your second term is 5. So to go backwards and factorize, you go bracket, 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 bracket. So let's write those brackets in, bracket, 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 bracket. You put the first thing in, which is 3a, inside your brackets. One bracket is plus, one bracket is minus, and then you put the second thing in, which for us here is 5, because it's 5 squared, because 5 squared is 25. So the key thing of factorizing with these patterns is, first of all, recognize the subtraction sign between two terms. It has to be subtraction. If it's positive, if it's a plus sign, it doesn't work. It has to be a difference, a subtraction. Then the next pattern to look for is, are your two terms squares? So can you write it as something squared minus something else squared? If you can, then you can factorize it using the pattern bracket, 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 first thing plus second thing, and first thing minus second thing. So the signs are alternating inside your factorized brackets.